The next function is your resource blast. I'm sure some of you guys will get calls from a client and say, hey, I'm sorry to do this to you, but I need a reporter to cover a job that's going to take place in 4 hours. Can you please get me one? Now, we created this function specifically for that so that it can save you guys time and it'll be less of a hassle for you guys to contact or get a hold of a reporter. So all you have to do, come back to this, in Calendar, you're going to see Resource Blast. All you have to do is enter the job number and hit search. Once you hit search, it's going to pull up every single resource that is available to cover this job. Now, if you want to look for specific resources within a certain mile radius of the job location, you can go and enter it there. So I'm just going to hit 20, hit search, and then it's going to basically minimize and show me all the reports that are available. All you have to do is either go to Actions or right click, check all, again right click, or go to Actions, send email or send SMS. What that will do in return is, in the Tool System Preferences, if you go to the Resource Blast tab, it will send them an email or a text message. Can you cover a job for us? If you can cover the job that came in the last minute, please call our office immediately at, and it'll have your company phone number, and then it'll say, here are the job details. That way, instead of you guys contacting and calling each individual reporter, you can send out a mass email and have the first reporter call you or email you back so that they will be assigned to the job. So this is basically what will be in the subject and the body of the email going out to your reporters. And at the bottom, will be in the text message if you guys are choosing to send out a text message along with it as well. Okay. The very last tab is your Others tab. Now this is mainly used for postal purposes. If you do not want to put a comma in between the city and state, go ahead and check this box and it will not put a comma there. After the System Preferences, you would go to Personal and User Preferences. Now the User Preferences is a personal setting, so it needs to be set on all the workstations. Looking at the first tab, you're going to see the Logon tab. It's going to say which SQL server do you want to connect to. Now you can either put in the internal IP of the server or enter the name of the server. The next tab is your Message Center. At the top is basically specifying how often you want to send and receive messages through the Message Center or from the Message Center. You can go ahead and select the period of time right here, and it will receive it every so many minutes that you guys have specified in here. If you want to request a read receipt, go and check this box and it will send you a receipt once the client has received it. Below is the Save Messages. You want to go and keep this box checked so that whenever you are sending any messages, it will be sent to your Sent Items folder. Below is your Deleted Messages. You want to keep this box checked as well, so that in case you delete a message in the Message Center, it will be sent to your Deleted Items folder rather than it being completely gone from the Message Center. Below is your New Message Format. Now, you can only send messages internally to any RB8 user. When you're sending the messages, this is the format that it's going to use. This is going to be the font name, and this is going to be the font size for the messages. The next tab is your Reports tab. Now, when you're running any sort of report in the RB8 system, you have to specify a business unit so that the system can run the report. So if you guys only have the one business unit, go ahead and select the main one. If you guys have multiple business units, you can just go ahead and select any main one or any single business unit. The next tab is the Email tab. This is for how you're sending out emails through the RB8 system. If you use the drop down where it says Send Email Using, you have three options. You have the MAPI, you have the Outlook, and you have SMTP. Now we recommend, if you guys can, to use the SMTP because it is a more reliable way for the emails to be sent out from the RB8 system. When using MAPI and Outlook, it's sending it through a third-party vendor and relies on them, but if you're using SMTP, it'll send it straight from your mail server. The next tab is your Business Units tab. This is for when you're entering brand new jobs in the RB8 system. Go ahead and select the business unit so that at the time you're scheduling jobs or entering jobs in the RB8 system, it'll be automatically implemented for you. The next tab is the Printers tab. Now we allow you in the RB8 to send jobs to multiple printers if you guys have multiple printers in the office. So for example, if you have 3 different printers in the office and you want to send your confirmations to the front printer, your invoices to the back, and your statements to the back as well, just go and use the drop down and select whichever printer you want it to be sent to. Now if you leave it blank, like this, it's going to send it to the default printer you have set on your workstation. The next tab below the printers is your database tab. Here, all you have to do is just use the drop down and specify a certain amount of time. If you're running any sort of report in the RB8 and it exceeds the amount of time that you have set in here, it's going to give you a command timeout. All you have to do is come back in here and expand the time so that it can run the query a little bit longer. The next tab is your spell checker. We have an automatic spell checker in the RB8 system. Whichever box you uncheck is what it's actually going to go through. If you want to spell check words with numbers, go and uncheck the first box. If you want to spell check words in uppercase, uncheck the second box. Words in mixed cases, uppercase and lowercase, go and check the third box. And if you want the system to show you suggestions, go and uncheck the last box. The next tab is your invoices tab. This is basically specifying how you want the format of your invoices to look. You can specify between the standard, the no remittance, accepting credit cards, Amex, MasterCard, and Visa, or just accepting MasterCard and Visa. Same thing with the next tab is your statements. This is how you want the format of your statements to look. You'll have the standard, the no remittance, accepting all 3 credit cards, Amex, MasterCard, and Visa, and then just accepting the MasterCard and Visa. The next tab is your Fax tab. We allow you in the RB8 to fax out from the program. If you want to use the fax service and you want to fax from the RB8 program, you have to make sure that you have a fax modem connected to a workstation connected to a landline. Once all that is set up, we can go ahead and install the fax service and get the fax up and running for you guys. The next tab is the SMS tab, which is your text messaging. Again, do not worry about this tab. Everything is automatically set up for you, so you guys can just go ahead and skip this one. The next tab below is your firms. This is the default setting for when you're entering brand new firms in the RB8 system. So if you know that majority or all of your firms are going to be within a specific state, go ahead and use the drop down where it says state and select that state. If you know that all your firms are going to have a specific late charge, say like 3%, go and enter it. If they're going to have a finance charge, go and enter the percentage in there. And if they're going to have a sales tax rate, go and enter that in here. The next tab below is your resources tab. This is for when you're entering brand new resources in the RB8 system. If you know that all your resources are going to be within a specific city or state, go and enter that information in here. If you don't know, then you can just go and leave it blank. Now below you're going to see original term and copy term. This is basically how you'll be paying out your reporters in the RB8 for their original transcripts and their copy transcripts. If you specify it at 0, then it's going to pay out the reporter once the invoice has been billed. Once you specify a specific number like 30 or 45, it's going to wait this fixed amount of days regardless if you've been paid or not. If you specify it as 9999, then it's going to pay the reporter once the invoice has been paid in full. Okay. The next tab is your jobs tab. This is the default setting for your brand new jobs that you enter in the RB8. All you have to do is just specify a time zone of where your company is so that it gets implemented in the calendar properly. The last tab is the Clipboard tab. We allow you in RB8 to copy and paste into its designated field, and just like any Word or any Notepad or anything like that, you can select a certain number of words to copy and paste. If you select 3 and you guys want to copy more, it's just going to hold the last 3 copies that you guys did within the RB8. So you guys can specify anywhere from 1 to 10 counts that you want to keep in the RB8 clipboard.